now we're in a different discipline than what most of you are used to, and that is marketing. But to help you all, I've inserted a few engineering methods in form of different models, which make it easier. And sort of one problem that we have is that there are discussions on how to reach potential members and how to communicate and what to communicate. And that we are moving in questions whether should we use LinkedIn or which forms of communication and what is important to communicate and so on. And one of the things, looking upon it with a new view, it was a bit clear that we haven't agreed on a baseline of what the brand should communicate, and then if you don't have that, it can be difficult to know what to do in operations. And the slides are in Swedish, but I'll translate. And this is a model that you often use in marketing, and I think many recognize expressions as your why and your vision and mission, and also your identity. And sort of if you don't know your purpose, then it's hard to set a vision for your organization. So we're gonna look at the top of this pyramid, which is the one we have been working on with, the more strategic, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about what is Chalmers Ingenjörsföreningen and what is it not. And if we start with the purpose, we set the purpose that it's about bringing together old and new Chalmerists. And sort of that is the main purpose for the organization. And everything we do should strive to do this. And sort of what is our long term, what do we want to achieve in a long term? And we want to have a worldwide network of proud Chalmerists. I don't know if that's a word, but now we decided it's fun. But really, that is the purpose. We want to bring people that have attended Chalmers and have a degree from Chalmers and bring them together in a network that stretches a long way outside Sweden. And sort of the mission that we want to do in the organization itself is that we want to create something where 100% of all Chalmers find a joy to be members. And this is a classic, sometimes it comes to a question here, why is it 100%? Is that achievable and so on? But it's the same as road safety. You can't have a goal that 100 people will die every year in traffic. We have to have a goal that 0 people will die in traffic. And it's about the same here. Of course, not. We will probably never reach 100% attendance, but that should always be the goal. Okay, so with this as a foundation, and I think everybody can agree that this works well with what we do in the Alumni Association today. We move on to a new model. So this is where it gets tricky. So this is advanced brand identity model, and it's a sort of while the first pyramid builds from the top down, the next model builds from the bottom up. And then sort of what is brand or what is marketing? And I would argue that marketing is about making people take emotional decisions based on rational values. So no one wants to be fooled by marketing, but still we are affected by it. So if you of those who have an Apple on your phone, you probably feel that it's a very fast phone, even if the Android has a better processor, for example. And sort of it's the same for us. If people don't know Chalmers Ingenjörsföreningen, the Alumni Association, and know what we stand for, then it's hard to sort of become a member if you don't know about us at all or who we are. But at the same time, you always have to have a reason to join something. You have so many alternatives today to put your energy and effort and engagement. And then, of course, you both need the rational value, why should I join, and what does that give me, and what can I provide, but also the emotional values. And here the bases are what we set up in the last model. We have our vision and mission that is very rational. What do we want to do? We want to create a network where everybody that has a degree wants to join. But sort of the more emotional side of that is the purpose, that we want to bring Chalmerists together. So if we have that, what kind of role do we want the organization to take, and what relation do that create to members and potential members? And here we think the role that we want to create is that to be a meeting place for a lifelong time as Chalmerists, to tie together people and to build relations in between them. And sort of the relation then we think the organization will get to our members is that it's a community which strengthens my identity and makes me proud over my time at Chalmers. And looking at what can we do that no one else can do as an organization, we think that we can create a network and be a link to the university. We think we can offer exciting meeting between people and show that if you have a degree from Chalmers, there's no limit to what you can achieve. And sort of at the more emotional side of it, that the organization is inclusive, it's welcoming, and they respect the history but embraces the future. And sort of what do I get as what's unique with joining? And then we think a rational argument is through Sing, I get access to a big network of people that have a degree from Chalmers. I can stay connected to what happens at the university, and I get access to exciting events. And what am I given at the more emotional side? The organization allows me to feel proud over being a Chalmerist, and that I'm a part of a bigger picture. And sort of this cooks down to sort of a value or what you say, a promise to our members and potential members that together we become a lifelong Chalmers community. And through this we also set up 4 sort of keywords: proudness, identity, network, and community, that we think captures these different values. And then we have a breakdown of it with pictures to make it all easier. But sort of to be able to define these four words, we set up pictures to what is it and what is it not, so we can easier communicate with each other. And starting with the first one, to be proud. And I'm going to read the little text at the top in English. And it says that we are proud of our time at Chalmers, what we achieved, what we learned, and who we become. With the great knowledge we got, we also got the humble enough to realize what we know and what we don't know. At Chalmers, we got the self-esteem and a right to be proud. And to be proud is not to be arrogant. For those who are interested in football, you know the difference between the young Zlatan and the old Zlatan. So that really, being proud can take different forms. It's about wanting to tell and not wanting to brag. We are proud to talk about Chalmers, but we don't use it to brag. And then it's also the ability to listen and learn, and it's not know it all, can do it all. So with great knowledge comes great responsibility in that sense. When it comes to identity, we think that being a Chalmers is something more than just that you studied at the university. It's something that shapes you and that you never stop being. And together, we continuously develop what it means to be a Chalmers. And we think in our identity, it's about being a part of something bigger. It's not about being bigger than others. That said, a good KTH joke is always in place, I guess. But other part from that, it's a belonging to the bigger Chalmers. It's about self-confidence, and it's not about attitude. And it's about belonging together, and it's not about antagonism. And we also, as I said, network is an important thing, and that tying together Chalmerists with different background, different education, different experience, and different personalities, we think that can only lead to good things, to create meetings between people that without knowing each other already has a strong connection, that can create professional exchange and personal friendship. And we think that meeting new people in this setting is to meet new people and not to have a class reunion. We think it's the networks we create have the ambition to tie people together, not to close people out. And also that it's about giving each other and not taking for yourself. And the last one, community. And independent of who you were when you studied at Chalmers, the door will always be open. It's the will of many that creates the place together, and it's the sum of us all that creates the community and the sammanhållning. I lost that word, but I think most of you are Swedes listening, but sort of what brings us together. And we think that this community is about being here voluntarily. It's not a paid responsibility for anyone. And we think it's for all and not for some. And it's something based on engagement and lust, and not on focusing on what doesn't work. So, reconnecting where we started. So we really think that the purpose of the organization is to bring old and new Chalmerists together. And the long-term goal is to create a worldwide network of proud Chalmerists. Our ambition is that 100% of the Chalmerists find joy in being members. And we think that we are defined by pride, identity, network, and community. So it's a lot of information at once, and it's a lot of work behind this presentation, but we think that this is a good starting point, that when we discuss the way forward and when we set goals in our marketing and strategy and so on, this is something to rely on. And sort of it's if we know that we are to include everyone and to build a worldwide network that will control some of the things we do, and it can mean that we choose to do one thing, but it can also mean that we choose to not do another thing. And the last one is that we sort of from this, we want to set goals on a yearly basis, what we want to achieve year to year. And then we get out into how do we achieve those goals. And here it is choosing what way to communicate, what the website should have for function and similar things. And then also at the very end, the actual actions that we take to achieve all of the above. So it's very, very easy to start in the actions, and should we be on Facebook or not? But sometimes it's hard to answer that if we don't know sort of you never start to build a house with the roof. You always start with the foundation, and it's about the same here. This work with communication, and that's where I end up. Are there any questions on this?
Jag läser att det inte är det. Detta var lite information till er. Stort tack till dig, Magnus. Den här har vi också filmat och lägger upp som lite information, och to be continued kan man väl säga då i detta, för vi kommer att behöva prata mer om hur vi kommunicerar. Med det så ska jag faktiskt ta och sharea min screen igen. Nu ska vi se på